Well, hi people, this is Killer J here, and today is a review of Resident Evil Revelations Revelations episode 3, I believe. Episode 3, I know. So episode 3 is pretty creepy there. Well, like you've seen in the previous two reviews I did, I'm doing the first. I'm doing 4 episodes. I'm doing 4 episodes. The other 2, I'm just gonna play them I'm just gonna cover the first 4 episodes with Claire and Moira, Barry, and Natalia. So, all right. Let's get started, shall we? Claire and Moira follow a note that was left by Neil and learn of his intentions to release the Ouroboros to justify the FEC, and then they confront Neil, who mutates. Claire and Moira are forced with no choice but to kill him. Yeah, basically that's what it is. And these enemies here, I hate these enemies. The pus enemies, I hate them. I hate these enemies because they can do stuff like that. I hate that shit. I hate it so. Hey, how they explode in that there is just ridiculous. It's just annoying there. The only fact that the enemies are exploding in that fact is it's gonna be crazy though. But the thing is, I like but the thing what Moira does with the flashlight, she stuns the enemy and you get a chance to do like a physical attack and stuff like that. It's pretty seen at Resident Evil Revelations. Okay, so anyway, I like what I think of this game. I think it's pretty good stuff. Actually, I like it. I actually like this type of game, Resident Evil. Out there, it's a very good series of games. Some are better than others. Resident Evil 6 just sucked. But this one was pretty good because it takes place between the events of Resident Evil 5 and 6. Because you get to play as Chris Redfield's sister, Claire Redfield, which is pretty good. Which is pretty nice, the fact you get to play as Claire again, because last time you got to play was Claire was in Code Veronica or something like that, I believe. So the weapons you get is a machine gun. Yes, a machine gun, like a Magnum. Much other weapons, but there's some puzzles in here. You have to get the artificial eyeballs and that there. You have to let the thing with the spikes fall down and break, and you have to replace it pretty quick. If you replace the eyeball pretty quick, if you don't, well, the spikes literally crush you. And the puzzle that I didn't like was the laser one. You had to switch as Moira. You had to walk around a little area, follow the footsteps, and basically, if you didn't follow the footsteps, basically you get shot with lasers, which is ridiculous. It's like one of the harder puzzles. I kind of find it was it was hard for me to play it actually, because you had to walk around. You're trying to move and get some stuff. It's just trying to get that eyeball. It's pretty crazy though. It's like, come on, Capcom, like literally. So I say the sound audio is pretty good. It's pretty good stuff there. It's pretty good to see the fact that it's doing well. It's doing that. The fact the sound and audio is really nice there. Very creepy feeling to it, which is nice to see in a Resident Evil game. Because Resident Evil, you get the traditional green herbs. You get those books you can read. You get to read documents and stuff like that. But basically, there's these lockpicking systems with you get the Barry, Moira, and Natalia. You basically, if you do those successfully, you get custom parts and you expand the character's inventory a bit, which is good. The character starts out with a small inventory, but later on, if you find those lockpicking systems doing successfully, you get to expand the inventory. Like I said, it's nice to expand your character's inventory, and you can carry more items basically. And that big enemy there is friggin'. I had to fight that in episode 2 basically. That's an episode 2 enemy. There. And there's a Barry and Natalia scenario.
Barry, are you okay?
Yeah.
There's Barry and Natalia scenario basically. It's pretty good that Barry's carrying Natalia on his back basically. Because this is a very cool. This is a very a very good moment with Barry. The characters in this episode, episode 3, show emotional side basically in this episode. So you get the feel for them as characters basically. You have Claire shows an emotional side, Barry shows an emotional side, which adds a bit of depth to the characters as well, because the characters are pretty good and the characters are old school, reminisce of the old school Resident Evil series, basically. Alright, so Barry and Natalia nearly escape from a mutated Alex, while Alex tries to kill Natalia. Does something that startles and strikes fear into Alex, which Natalia would Alex strangle, like choking Natalia, but Natalia looks at her and scares her, basically. So that's that for episode 3 of the story with Barry, because think of it, you got a lot of you can make weapons, you can make cocktails, you can make like combined items, which is pretty nice too. A very common staple of the Resident Evil series. You got the combined weapons, which combining the weapons and that there, and that's pretty good. You get to do that type of stuff in a game like this. A game like this I actually like. So there will be a review on episode 4, and that'll be it for this series of reviews for this one. So basically, I actually played this, and it's pretty good so far. It's like very good for Resident Evil. It's like very good for the fact that they get to play as the old characters again, and the environments and stuff like that, to the horror feel. It's like old school Resident Evil. It's like, I believe this is like the 10th installment in the series. They did a lot of installments there. There was the sixth series. There was Code Veronica. There was Resident Evil 0 on the GameCube. There was a bunch of them. There was a game on the PS1 called Resident Evil Survivor, and there was games on the PS2 called Resident Evil Outbreak as well. A bunch of them. There was a bunch of Resident Evil games, and there was some handheld. There was one on the DS, which was Resident Evil 1 on the DS, basically. And Resident Evil Revelations 1 was on the 3DS. On the Nintendo 3DS at the time, and the Wii U, actually. It was pretty surprising, though. But this one's not on the Wii U, though, or the 3DS, because that's pretty surprising. But they did it with Episode Machine, and I hate those wasp enemies. I hate them. I hate those friggin' enemies. They're annoying. My final thoughts: I give this game a 7.4 out of 10. So it's pretty. That's the fact that I'm giving it a 7.4. It's I didn't like the puzzles. 7.6 actually, not 7.4, 7.6. There's stuff like here where you do with Natalia. You have to switch characters, and she turns on valve switches and to get through, because it's like basically cooperative play is pretty good. But if you don't have a buddy, you have to keep switching characters back and forth, basically, which is pretty which adds more to the game and stuff like that. So this is Killer J. See you guys later. If you guys want more, if you people want more review in the future, just let me know. So.